Welcome to iHeartGeek.
Okay, no, Scott Lang does not use his suit for that. Right?
Oh, dude, that's wrong. And welcome to another episode of iHeartGeek. You're dirty, dude.
Well, he would do anything for love.
What?
Not that.
But he won't do that.
I wouldn't do that.
He doesn't take it to the dry cleaner, so you guys are sick.
And welcome to another episode of iHeartGeek. We are on...
Thanks, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, me too. We are on our Empire Strikes Back episode of the MCU.
That's true, we are.
Phase 2.
Do
you think this is going to be the best like Empire?
No.
It'll hold its own.
It'll hold its own.
Okay.
I'm kind of excited about 3. 3's got some pretty good films, so we'll see. But I'm excited about 2 because of someone who's joined us.
Yes, we'll get to her in just a second. iHeartGeek this week is brought to you by Jan Brady, reminding you that the middle is sometimes the best. Just not if you're Jan Brady.
Every time it's Dark World, Dark World, Dark World. Jeez.
No, nobody says that. No one at all says that.
No, I'll never be a superhero.
Okay, so let's go into let's talk about the panel first. I'm Dub, and I'm your producer, writer type guy this week, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell I'm tired?
Burp.
I hope the energy goes back up by next recording.
I have no doubt.
I think it will.
Yeah.
I think we need a Starbucks
You
run.
need like
That's
a
what I
Red
think
Bull
we
or
need.
something.
I think so. Okay, across the table today, we have a guy that feels really capital.
Capital. Yes, that's my new word now. Capital. No drinking game, just capital. It's your friendly neighborhood Codge. Hi.
Hi.
Somebody needs Starbucks.
I'm very
here.
disappointed because I had a drink here. I honestly thought I was going to join this stupid game that I've heard so much about, and now here he goes. He doesn't even do it anymore.
I think we can
Who
get him
has
to
two
do it.
thumbs and needs a Starbucks? You
This
can't
guy,
see it, but I'm pointing to myself.
that guy.
Okay, and on our rotating fourth chair this week, we have a absolute fan favorite. We have Miss Geeky Page herself.
Hi, everybody.
How are you
Hi.
doing today?
I feel good.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
not-
I'm
it's-
drinking.
Drink
That's a sip.
anyways.
That's
Go
a
ahead,
sip.
guys.
That's a sip. So yeah, we're doing phase 2.
I'm PB&Jason.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
you
glad to be-
completely forgot
Glad to be
PB.
here on the show.
Yeah, PB&Jason.
Yeah, I'm PB&Jason.
It's been a long recording session. I
Yeah.
apologize
Yeah,
for
right.
that,
Whatever.
PB and Jason.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
his excuse.
Polar Bear and Jason, who got a new truck.
Who did get a new truck? This is true.
See, because I know you like talking about yourself, so I'll give you that.
I'll put a
Little
picture.
extra
I'll put a
opportunity.
picture up. It's Venom, the truck.
When are you going to put the do the
I
sticker?
thought
or-
about that, doing something on that back tail
Are you
door.
going to do the symbiote back there?
I want to put the face.
Cool.
I might look into that.
Just put this big smile with the teeth on it.
And the eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I might look into that.
That'd
I'm
be
in.
fun. Yeah. That'd be cool.
Nice. Okay, so if you guys haven't kind of figured out kind of the groove we're going for in this, we're doing Phase 2 today. We're going to be discussing all the movies of Phase 2 and then kind of going from there. So we'll start off with right away just discussing the movies that came out in Phase 2 so y'all can follow along at home. I'm going to read these all, then we'll go through them one at a time. So starting the Phase 2 batting order, we had, in 2013, Iron Man 3.
Sorry.
Yeah. Then also in 2013, we had Thor, The Dark World.
We're really sorry.
I bet you Eccleston was glad he left Doctor Who for that.
Which is sad because I love him.
He was my favorite. He was one of my favorite doctors. Anyway,
Underrated
in
doctor.
2014, we had Captain America, The Winter Soldier, and things are looking up.
Reprieve.
Yes. And then also in 2014, I think the most unexpected blockbuster hit of all the MCU, and
I
that would be
agree.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Agreed.
So good. Okay, we'll get back to it. In 2015, we have Avengers: Age of Ultron, which to me was kind of a
Leveling
flat
out.
line.
Leveling out.
That was, well, we'll get to that.
Good and bad.
And 2015, another complete shocker, movie that should suck but didn't, Ant-Man.
Debatable.
Really? We'll get to there. I'm really curious.
Look
on
at
your
that
thoughts now.
puss that you got going on there.
This is going to be one of those episodes where we're going to stop being friends again, isn't it?
No, not at all. I liked it. We'll talk about it later.
We'll get
We'll chat.
to it. I promise.
I did not hate it.
Okay, let's
Passive aggressiveness at the
Really?
top here.
Really?
let's start with possibly one of the. Oh well, let's say it's the worst Iron Man film, Iron Man 3.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I
Iron
would
Man
say it's
2
so
is
much
pretty
worse than
terrible.
2.
As I said on the, I believe, the Phase 1 show, the first 2 offerings in Phase 2, I still have not seen.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Iron Man 3, and I haven't seen Dark World.
you are so lucky.
Well, I'm going to. No, I'm going to, though. I have to.
Okay.
Along with Iron Man 2. I need to see those 3, and then I have seen all the MCU.
You know, it had the really cool build-up to see the Hulkbuster armor, which that was cool. But I don't think it really did. Yeah.
I don't know.
It didn't deliver.
I felt like Robert Downey Jr. was, I don't want to say phoning it in.
I would.
But you could see that he was not, like, they talked him into doing it, because I think after 2, he's like, I don't want to do 3.
I think he just wanted to do
or
ensembles
just
after
cameos.
No,
just like kinda
3
pop
was
in.
actually supposed to be the last time he was going to play Iron Man. He was done.
Okay.
Because he was actually, they wanted him to be in Guardians.
Really?
Yeah, the end credits was end credits of Iron Man 3 was supposed to be him, or maybe it was an end credit scene in Dark World. He was supposed to blast off into space and meet the Guardians, but RDJ said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done being Iron Man. Like, completely done being Iron Man. He obviously came back for Ultron and Civil War and that kind of stuff, but it was supposed to be his swan song as Iron Man. So I think that's probably why it felt like he was phoning it in, because it was supposed to be the end of Iron
well,
Man.
I think he
And
made the
just
right
made it so
decision coming
grandiose.
back.
Yeah.
I'm sure his accountant said
He
"You're making the
probably
right
watched the
decision."
With a
movie and said, I'm not
770,
ending on that
you know.
thing.
Well, that explains why they took out his nuclear reactor out of
Uh-huh.
his chest,
Right.
Yeah.
yada yada yada, and they cured him and blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been over, but I'm glad that they didn't, because that would have been, honestly, I think that would have been detrimental to the MCU.
Yeah.
He's so important to everything that's happened. You can take him out of the story and you can still tell the story, but it's not as good.
No, they need him. He's one of the anchors.
Yeah.
Really.
they-
and so
he
they
needed to finish Phase
They
3.
need him to get
Yeah.
through the third phase, which you got through, and it was perfect.
There was no tying in a bow.
They really don't.
No.
I don't think they need him anymore.
No.
No.
So I think it's fine.
And I would like to think that it was Stan Lee that asked him to come back and do the other ones. There's no proof for that, but he always said, Stan Lee always said that when he was writing Iron Man, he could see when RDJ was playing him, he could see his creation in him. He was always
Yeah.
Stanley had always said that he was the perfect choice. So I like to pretend that Stan Lee was the one that asked him to come back and finish
Yeah,
the
I
rest
choose
of the
to believe
MCU.
it.
I live in my universe for that
No,
for a while.
it's a great universe. That's great.
Don't make me come over there.
Don't make me come back.
So, in those of us that have watched it so far, what do you think?
Shut up.
Oh, that wasn't backhanded, I promise.
No.
What do you think would have improved that movie?
Actually having the real Mandarin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was such. It was.
Yeah.
That was a slap in the face. It really does.
Because the Mandarin has been one of Tony Stark's long-time villains. New technology versus old school tradition, ancient tradition, and then having them kind of like battle it out to see who was going to be the victor would have been epic. I think just with the Mandarin and then the extremists, the two storylines, they just really
Didn't.
It was like Green Goblin and Venom in Spider-Man 3. They really just didn't connect with each other.
I think part of the problem was I don't think they figured out who was going to be the bad guy in that movie. Because
There wasn't a big bad.
Well, because from what I read is originally, like at one point in time, the Dr. Maya, whatever her name is, the girl, she was supposed to be the villain of the piece. And then they changed it to
Right.
Extremis. But then then it was going to be the Mandarin. So I think the problem is the whole film just has an identity crisis about what it wants to be.
I can see that.
The first, I want to say 25 minutes of the movie with the Mandarin, I think, is really good. It is perfect Mandarin.
Because Ben Kingsley could be the Mandarin.
Right.
But then he was, he's just a weird actor that doesn't know what's...
Right.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Right.
And you just can't get past it at that point. You know, I want to, I just can't get past it. You know, I'm not... You know,
I can't get past that for my entire life. When anybody says Mandarin, I can't help but think orange juice.
you know, I do too.
Like every time.
Just Mandarin Orange.
Yeah, exactly.
And that would have been better than the Kingsley performance. Just put some put a
Glass of orange
Orange
juice.
good. Storyline.
It's the Mandarin.
Yeah.
and put 10 rings on it.
Well, and I think another problem with it is because a good portion of the plot is Tony dealing with PTSD. He can't be Iron Man. He can't, he spends a good portion, I want to say like 60% of the film out of the suit, not being able to be in the suit. One, not because he can't face it, and then two, because he's trapped without the suit for a while. So I mean,
what occurrence made him have PTSD?
It all ties back to
Avengers.
New York and Avengers going up the wormhole. He mentions it.
Okay.
So like the kid that most people can't remember who he is, the teenager that's at the funeral in Endgame. He's the kid from Iron Man 3 that helps him kind of get over it.
Oh, nice.
Now, actually, with you saying that, what I think would have been actually a smarter choice is you don't have Iron Man 3 first. You have him deal with his PTSD in somebody else's film where he didn't have to carry the whole thing.
Right.
That would have probably been a...
Yeah.
That way they could have solved in the first 10 minutes.
I've read some great articles about how it is a really good example of someone dealing with PTSD, but the problem is that's not what people expected when they went into an Iron Man movie.
Right.
And
I
again,
think that was part of the problem.
this is entertainment. I want to be entertained in a movie. I don't want to... This sounds terrible. I don't want to think too much.
Right.
Well, they could have, and they kind of did it in Endgame or in Infinity War as well, where they could have just did the Extremis story arc alone.
And they should have.
Because I mean, Tony's feeling like he's on top of the world, like he is a superhero, and then the Extremis virus gets out, somebody ingests it, and then he basically gets superpowers. Tony goes in without the Avengers to go deal with this guy, and he just it's almost like Zod from Superman. He just mops the floor with him.
Yeah.
And to the point where Tony has to take the Extremis, to which they actually showed in Infinity War when he suits up and you just see it kind of like merge into himself and he becomes Iron Man. That's Extremis. That's what that's the exact same format that they used. Yeah, I think the Mandarin was just kind of a side plot to kind of throw people off the trail on what the story was supposed to be. Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
Well, yeah, let's move on to our next disappointment. I mean, movie. I apologize.
This is the Godfather 3 of the MCU.
Oh my gosh.
It kind of is.
It really is.
Thor: The Dark World. Now, with me giving it all that crap, I will say this: it's not as bad as we all remember. Go and watch it.
What's unfortunate, even though I haven't seen it yet, I know it's got some of my favorite actual characters from the Thor mythology in there with Curse and Malekith. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Malekith?
Malekith?
Malekith, the Dark Elf.
Yeah.
Those are some of my favorite characters out of the comics. So it's unfortunate that what I've heard, as far as the translation to film.
Yeah. Well, the sending away of the Warriors 3 and I'm like, why? There's a lot of things I didn't understand. They didn't make sense.
They had a chance to do a real Thor story.
Yeah.
In the realms.
Which would have been cool.
And the whole film was plagued with problems from the very beginning, too.
Well, they needed Brannick back.
Well, it was supposed to be Patty Jenkins, and then they got rid of her, and they got Alan Taylor, who I like to refer to as Alan Failure. He's a terrible director.
What other works has he done?
Some of the worst episodes of Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
The last one? Sorry, I apologize.
It's bad.
Spoiler.
Yeah. No, like he did Beyond the Wall, and he did some of the worst ones that people just that don't belong in the universe. Alan Failure, I'm not the only one that calls him that, but he directed it. And so Natalie Portman was a pain in the rear the entire time because she wanted Patty. Well, she wanted Patty Jenkins, so she was kind of difficult to work with the entire time.
I hate actors that do that. I gotta say.
That's why she's not in the MCU now, and she hasn't come back, and she's been trying to get back in. So if you see a bunch of her interviews now, she's like, "Oh well, I loved working for Marvel." It's because she's not getting the Oscar parts that she was getting before, and so she's like, "Now I got to get some of that Marvel money under my belt." But they don't want her because she was a troublemaker. That's why Thor and Jane break up, and he's not with her anymore, and
which we were all happy to see.
Right?
Does Alan Failure hang out with Ruin Johnson?
Probably.
Well played. Yes.
The other thing is Christopher Eccleston hated it the whole time.
He hates everything.
He really
does.
Fair. But
He's like Mikey.
He's difficult.
Well, I guess his problem was he
left Doctor Who for that.
He said that no one told. He hated working on Doctor Who. He said that they didn't. They lied to him about how long the makeup was going to take.
Oh my gosh!
So he had to spend like 6 to 8 hours in makeup.
Your head to toe. What do you expect?
Well, to get the makeup on, and then there's like another several hours to take it off. But that's pretty standard for that kind of makeup.
Chris.
So he was. And then Alan Taylor, the director himself, was, even though he was given full creative freedom, so what we see on the screen is exactly what his vision was. He says that the studio turned it into something else after he was done with it. And that's what was released. So, I mean, this movie was just
now, but
from
I will
the beginning.
Say this. Go back with kind of your palate cleansed of the MCU for a while. Go back and rewatch it, and it's not great, but it's not as bad as we're talking about it either. There were some entertaining moments. Loki was, as always, completely brilliant in that movie.
Wasn't supposed to be in it.
Wasn't supposed to be in it?
He wasn't supposed to be in it. They added him in because everybody loved him so much in Avengers.
Oh, he was so good.
They added him in.
Good choice.
His Chris Evans impersonation, or Chris Evans' Captain America impersonation is pretty funny.
Oh, that was great. I love that.
It's pretty funny.
I'd say there's moments that I think are salvageable, and to me it's worth at least watching it again and then make your mind up after all these years.
And you get to see Rene Russo kick some butt as
yeah, I mean, the worst character that, as far as performance goes, was Natalie Portman's character.
Yeah.
But hey, get over it.
What are you gonna do?
Okay, now let's brighten our eyes. Let's look up to the sky. We have a savior that has showed up. As always, this is the second comic book movie that I got to take my dad to, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Now this was the Russos, right? The Russos did this movie?
I don't know. Do you know who did this one? Was this the Russos?
Honestly, that's one thing I didn't write down about this, so I don't remember.
I'll look it up while you guys talk. Talk about Winter Soldier. It's a great movie.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Now this is after we've saw the two movies that were okay at best, and we're like, oh, is the MCU dead? This was like, okay, no, we're still where we need to be. Moving forward. And honestly, this movie made everybody forget about the last two, and it was because it was that good.
Yeah.
I think that
the answer to the question is yes.
It was
Anthony and Joe Russo.
Yes. Do I get a point?
High five.
I think Christopher Evans was, as always, brilliant in the movie. I like his just evolution of a character.
And like I was telling you,
he grew up from the first one.
Like I was saying from Phase 1, like but that's why Captain America is one of my favorites, is because yes, we have these superhuman entities in this world, and Captain America is just basically a kid from Brooklyn that just happened to get some super steroids, if you want to call it that.
They're steroids.
But he's human, and that's why the Winter Soldier is probably my favorite movie of all the MCU, because it's an espionage movie. It's it's a cloak and dagger type of a movie, and then just the illustrious scene in the elevator that you brought up. So amazing. And then it does have him chasing his old friend, trying to what's going on? Why are you still here?
Taking it down, pulling it down from a big epic special effects loaded movie into a spy movie.
Spy action thriller.
Action movie was a great
True
movie.
Lies almost, but not as funny, but just
they only did one bad thing in my opinion, and I may get some agreement from Geeky Page on this.
Okay.
Black Widow did not need to hook up with someone to be an interesting character. And they should have never had her and Steve hint at being romantic.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
At all.
Would you? Well, what about?
I didn't like that either.
She didn't need to be
Sharon. We didn't need Sharon either.
Well, that kind of threw me off a little bit too, because when you find out that she is actually Peggy's niece, then it's kind of like
incestual.
Agent 13.
It kind of is
almost a Luke and Leia type of a thing, sort of like, no, but that doesn't determine. Yeah, I think the movie speaks for itself. It's amazing.
The Black Widow, Captain America, quote unquote romance. It confused the Black Widow. Hulk romance later. To me, it was a little confusing because you don't want to have to root for one or the other, and they should have thought of that.
They honestly never needed to even give her a romance.
That's the thing is I agree with you completely on that. I don't think Nat needed to be propped up by any kind of a man.
Well, I don't. I think it's the other way around, though.
She had a wonderful relationship with Clint.
Right.
And that was perfect. And they were on equal ground.
Yeah. And they got back to that in Endgame, which I appreciated.
Yes. Well, I think that Steve needed a girl. She didn't need a guy.
Well, and
so
the thing
if that makes sense.
The thing is that's, I think, why they did that, because they couldn't give him Sharon yet. Because in all actuality, Steve is with Sharon in the comic books. He's not with Peggy, because Peggy's dead. But, and I guess apparently in the original cut of either Endgame or Infinity War, they're in a relationship and they live together and it's not going well, but they cut it out so that it didn't get, nobody went, ew, when he had spoilers with Peggy at the end. But the problem is I think they were going to try to hook him up with Sharon, and the big issue is nobody liked Sharon on screen.
No.
Right.
And so that's why she's not around anymore.
She must have not tested well at all, honestly.
Well, I think they always had planned on having Steve end up back with Peggy. But I mean, because there was all that rumoring. That's phase 3, though. So
it's one of those things that sometimes, it's like great directors, and the Russos, there's very little criticism I could actually give them in their filmmaking. But I don't understand why. I don't know who gets in directors' ears sometimes about you have to have hookups.
Yeah, there had to have some sort of hint of romance.
Because it wasn't necessary.
Yeah. It wasn't.
To me, like, Sharon was more of kind of like Batman and Batgirl. Like, it's like mentor-y, or like kind of like you find out.
Yeah.
You find out that she, you find out that she is Peggy Carter's niece, and like, okay, and then it's more of a older brother, or like he's there to protect her because that's a link to Peggy.
Yeah, I mean, originally I think the character
they don't need to be romantically involved. That just makes
I think
it weird.
Sharon was actually originally supposed to be Peggy's younger sister.
Oh,
and then they
worse.
changed, because in timeline in the comics they changed her to the niece. But still, I mean, I agree with you.
So future Marvel directors, listen to me. Forget about hookups. They aren't necessary.
Well, I think it's something they had to learn, and I think they did learn their lesson.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because it didn't happen really at all from the rest of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of those. I mean, there was Gamora and Star-Lord,
which makes sense.
In Phase 3,
was over time.
But yeah, I mean, that
there
worked.
was Ant-Man and Wasp.
But yeah,
again, that's written that way.
Yeah, I mean, but it worked that way. So
that wouldn't have worked without it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You said about the effects. One thing I looked up and I saw is that they actually they've used the most minimal visual effects. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Which means the CGI.
Mm-hmm.
It's most of the stunts and whatnot that are done in Winter Soldier are practical effects.
It looks that way too.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to our next movie.
Guardians
This one is the surprise hit of the universe.
Yep.
Guardians of the Galaxy. We'll talk about this on another show as far as, because they got a sequel coming up. To me, terrible comic book. I should not have wanted to see this movie, but it is so fantastic. Everything they did in that first movie, they did right. I know Drax issues aside.
That's another show.
Yeah.
That's the next show.
Yeah, I know. Okay. But no, that movie is just perfect. This from the soundtrack, visually, it's perfect.
The impressive thing is they took D-list characters.
They're G-list.
I mean, again, after I told you, like on the Phase 1 show, after Avengers, I knew they could do no wrong. This is proof.
Yeah.
You know, they took
talking raccoon.
Yeah, they took
How stupid does that sound?
They took absolutely
Right, but he's
obscure cosmic characters
Yep.
that never really got a foothold in the comics that well, and made him one of the biggest of the bunch of the MCU films.
I mean, and how great a character is Star-Lord?
It's hilarious.
I mean, what
He
a
does good.
stupid name. Absolutely. I mean, on paper, it is so ridiculous. It's a tree that says I'm Groot.
Star-Lord.
Yeah. And he makes who?
Now,
Who? Man.
No, the second that who? Come on, and that's like, oh, they're not taking.
Come
it so
on,
seriously.
man.
This is awesome.
And just the '80s aspect that it just reminds me of my childhood, like watching those epic space events, like back in my younger years, and they just totally brought that back with the
feels
music.
like
The
Buck
soundtrack
Rogers.
is second to none.
Yeah.
Like it was a nice mixture of just everything put together, and now younger adult mothers and fathers are like, this is what I used to watch back when I was
My
when I was a kid.
my two
Yeah.
favorite Guardians are actually, I do love Rocket, Bradley Cooper, and his
Bradley
voicing
Cooper
of
did
Rocket
such
to
a
give
good
it
job.
personality. And a guy, her name is escaping me. Gamora. What's the actress?
More,
Zoe Saldana.
Zoe
Yeah.
Saldana, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love her as Gamora.
I do too.
Because I was a big fan of Gamora through the Infinity Watch in the comic books, and she is a perfect Gamora, absolutely perfect.
Oh, and Karen Gillan as
Oh,
Nebula.
Yeah, I would put
Yeah.
in a punt for Nebula because
She's different from the comics, but I like her portrayal
Well,
for
and
sure.
She shaved that beautiful hair
her
she has.
her arc
it was a
over
bald
the first one all the
It was
way
a bald
to the
wig.
to Endgame. Come on, it's just amazing.
Yeah, she came into her own in Endgame for sure.
Yeah,
that was a good
absolutely.
role. But
Yep.
yeah,
I think that's
Very
the best
cool.
thing she's done, including Doctor Who.
Yep.
And that's saying something because I liked her. As
We love
companion.
Amy Pond.
I do. Who doesn't?
Everybody loves Amy Pond.
I'm
That's
not
what
that.
happened to
I
her
wasn't
once.
that. I wasn't that fond of Drax because I'm a big fan of Drax, and I didn't like giant baby comic Drax that much.
I don't feel like he was.
I know I'm going to probably talk about this again because I
think
know
we
there's
are.
a volume 2.
Yeah, which, yeah. And I'll just say, this Drax, I like the way he was portrayed. I thought that, as far as, a lot of people say he's on the spectrum, I think he was very tastefully done. Most people agree that he was very tastefully done. He can still do anything that he just doesn't always get the joke. And this, you're never laughing at him so much. Things that he does is funny, but you're not laughing at him.
It's more of dry humor that he just doesn't.
It's very
get
British, yeah. He doesn't get it.
Yeah, and I personally enjoyed it because I knew nothing about the Guardian. I had heard of them, and I'm like, okay, it's a space. It's something to do with space. They're like space pirates or whatever. And then watching the movie, like I didn't have any preconceived notions on any of the characters. What they were supposed to do, what their relationships were. So going in blind and just like watching the movie, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like just I had so much fun with that movie.
It is a good movie.
The dance off.
I was expecting...
Dance off, bro. Come on.
See, now that's a problem for me, actually.
I
I
like
thought it was
it.
great.
I thought it was funny.
It was one of those choices because, see, Ronan the Accuser, and it's like he's a scary character in the comics, and they, I don't know, I don't want to get off too much on that. I like the actor. Lee Pace, but it's one of those characters where the MCU is so good at casting. I'm not too fond of what they did with Ronan.
Do you think it's just because there were so many bigger entities that they didn't want to? He would. I don't want to say steal spotlight, but it just
Could be.
he's there, and everybody knows how powerful he is. But like with the MCU, that they have to kind of debuff some of their powers a little bit because you can't have him going up against Thanos.
It's not so much that he's powerful. It's like he's kind of the Judge Dredd of Marvel,
Right.
And it's like that's how he should be portrayed.
But can Lee Pace do that? I mean, I keep thinking
Well,
of
maybe not.
Standrill in in Hobbit, and he was supposed to be pretty terrifying in that, and he's not. So I mean, maybe I don't know. I mean, I've only seen him in a couple of things, and maybe he just can't be terrifying.
Just have some more chase scenes where like Ronan is going after him, like viciously,
he's in Captain
like
Marvel
destroying
too, and
things.
it's like,
yeah.
He's that way in Captain Marvel as well.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this was the first time we really saw Thanos. I mean, you had the glimpses, but this is the first time he had us like speaking.
Yeah, right.
And he had a full scene, and it was like,
don't fail me, or you will be destroyed.
First time it was Josh Brolin, because it was somebody else in the.
And you saw the manipulation that he did, even with his daughters, and it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was really well done, and I wasn't excited about Thanos until that point, because I mean, you saw him before, you're like, yeah, okay, purple guy. Yeah. I know it's Thanos.
I didn't just go purple guy.
No, I was like Thanos.
I'm like Thanos.
I screamed Thanos.
I did Thanos, but it's like.
I went, and my mom goes, "Who's that?"
But I wasn't super excited until that,
right?
Because he was smart and he was manipulative and he wasn't just like this pure evil force.
Cunning.
And I liked that. And they didn't, you don't see that when you just see the quick.
Yeah.
So I thought that was fun.
It's okay. That was just meant for Kaj to scream Thanos.
Yes. Thanos. Gross. Okay, next one up. We have Avengers Age of Ultron, which was the weakest of the Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some really great moments.
It wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination.
I loved the Hulkbuster versus the Hulk fight. That was well done. The premise was solid. It's just again, they made a choice with Ultron. How are they going to do Ultron?
Voice was not
and it's just
where I wanted it.
If they were going to make it to where he was sort of a byproduct of Tony Stark. I mean, in the comics, it's Hank Pym.
Yeah, he's Hank Pym.
But in the if they're going to do it that way, they honestly should have had Robert Downey Jr. do his voice.
Or Jarvis, or Paul Bettany do like an evil version of Jarvis.
I guess.
Yeah, I suppose that could have worked.
I guess Whedon wanted Spader. Like that was his. He was the only one he wanted to voice.
And I wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
I think. Did I say Woods earlier? I apologize. Jason Spader. I don't like him in that role. He's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
He's absolutely brilliant. It just didn't work. When he does the Pinocchio monologue, it's like.
Well, that's not really Spader. That's just the writing.
No, and I'm not saying the lines. I'm saying the way he delivered it. I just didn't. I didn't believe it.
But that is a movie that gave us Paul Bettany's vision.
Yeah,
that's
that was outstanding.
And great origin story, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel about Wanda and Quicksilver? Like
what a waste.
Yeah, like
I thought it was a waste of Quicksilver.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. Well, and that's it was kind of hinting toward mutants. Kind of. Sort
well, they
of,
were struggling because they
they're
had
not allowed to.
Well, they were struggling because they had Quicksilver in the X-Men movies,
right?
Yeah.
Who I don't know. In my opinion, I think did a better version of. I know that. I can't remember the guy that's in Kick-Ass, but he's Quicksilver. Like he looked the part.
Both of them are Quicksilver.
Did you guys ever see the extended scene for Ultron when they created the Vision and Thor and Vision threw down?
No.
Yeah, there's an extended scene.
Awesome. I don't think
extended scene where Thor and the Vision fight for a brief fight, but it's a really good fight. And you really see how Vision powerfully and physically is almost on Thor's level.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Plus he picks up Milner.
Right.
Right. Which he doesn't. They keep that in there.
Yeah, they keep the last.
It also
bit
gives us the precursor to Cap picking up the hammer and Endgame and.
Right.
But I actually. So you think the guy in X-Men is a better Quicksilver, or this guy's a better Quicksilver?
The actor that plays X-Men, the X-Men Quicksilver. Not
really?
See, I'm on exactly the opposite than you. I like Evan Peters, but I prefer this characterization of Quicksilver, and I wish we'd gotten more of it.
I think visually that's more what I would picture.
Yeah.
The X-Men Quicksilver he's just kind of goofy and
he's being Evan Peters.
Yeah, he's got a nice round face and he's just okay, but Kick-Ass looks like.
I said, like visually, he looked right.
But they didn't give him anything to work with either. They gave him
and then just kind of
stop him
and just kill and just kind of like off him off at the end. And I kind of wish, I know that they couldn't because of rights and stuff, but like just hearing who their father was, their real father is.
Yeah, they couldn't do that.
Well, they got that in X-Men.
But the thing is the rights, there was a rights issue with both Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, and he made the deal to get both of them, so they could have kept them in the MCU if they wanted to keep going, but for some reason they just decided to kill him off in Ultron.
I liked his costuming better in this, everything.
I just wonder if maybe
waste.
they didn't want to deal with the incestuous family timeline that
That's fair.
Maybe.
Yeah,
And
so
they just-
Ultron
to get rid of
suffered
him.
for some pace issues too.
Yeah.
Like it was too long.
It was too long, but still felt cramped.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. I see that.
They put too much in, but it was too long. But it felt long.
Right. Yeah, and like
By
even
the time that party hits, you're like, okay, I'm done.
yeah, seemed to suffer from like let's go into the editing room and work a little more.
I think Whedon was
Yeah.
really full of himself by the time Ultron
Well, he
came
didn't,
around.
he
He did.
didn't want to do it either, did he? I know that he was having some reservations on doing the second movie.
And he wanted to add more characters into this one, and they told him it's already convoluted enough.
Right.
You got to make do with what you got.
Okay.
So,
Which is a shame because he did so good in Avengers,
yeah. Absolutely.
juggling characters.
Yeah.
Who knows? Okay, so let's move on to our final movie from this this phase, and that would be Ant-Man, which was just absolutely delightful.
Meh.
I shouldn't have liked it. Or okay, from the story itself, I wouldn't like it. From the way the story was told, I loved it. It was something different from the rest of the universe. It was Ocean's 11, funnier.
Well, you got to hand it to Marvel for taking an O-level character
Right.
and actually boosting him up to
I'll be
a good B plus.
This sounds like a pattern.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I honestly, I liked everything about it. Lewis makes the movie.
2 smoothie machines.
Yeah.
A little over the top, but I do also agree
love
funny. Yeah.
Well, I honestly
And
that
the rest
movie.
and the rest of his gang.
Yeah, that movie
I don't know.
needed him.
I'm a huge fan of Paul Rudd. So
yeah.
Right.
So him playing. Yeah, he
Dorky Scott Lang.
Yeah, he nailed.
Yeah.
Again, a very uninteresting comic book character
Right.
overall. But he nailed. You know, he brought something to that to that role.
Definitely
for
not
sure.
Kirk Douglas's best work.
Well, maybe he was just
Well,
there to kind
that's
of
'cause
pass
that
the
was
torch
Michael
on to
Douglas.
Scott,
Oh, you
basically.
mean
Yeah.
Michael Douglas?
Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Kirk's
Michael
about it,
Douglas.
I'm
yeah.
like Kirk Douglas.
That would have
Yeah.
been really interesting.
Yeah. No, Michael Douglas was fine in that.
As Hank
He was
Pym?
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't hate him, but
He was
They made a choice with Hank to make him older.
Yeah.
Again, take another boring ass
mentor.
character
Yeah.
and do something kind of good with him. Plus, I like Michael Douglas.
right.
So there you go.
but I thought it was the right amount of comedy. It brought us back. You know, everything been dark.
Let us give the mic to Kaj for a minute because Kaj has been umming and umming here. So, Kaj, let me ask you a question, my friend.
Yes.
What is it about Ant-Man that sets your going?
Is it Yellow
What turns you
Jacket?
into PB&Jason when you talk about Ant-Man?
Brings the curmudgeon out of Kaj.
So to state first, I did not hate the movie. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. It was like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but like superhero movie.
Yeah.
Like him falling down the drain and then like talking to the ants and all that stuff. That was great. I just felt that even after Age of Ultron and Winter Soldier, that this movie was very much concentrated into a small Earth, like microverse, I guess you could say. Not even the quantum realm, but it was very much. It could have been a TV show, and I probably would have enjoyed it better because it could have
it's too
fleshed out the
small
characters
for
a
you?
little bit. It felt smaller. It felt like it was in a box
Okay.
of where there is a galaxy of Marvel surrounding it, and it's a small little box, like almost like going to Smallville.
Yeah, but
Like,
don't you think
going from Metropolis to
Don't you think
Smallville.
him going and meeting the Falcon kind of unboxed it a little bit?
That's one of my favorite lines.
It's almost the door opening, like the box has a door, and he was opening it up, and then didn't they make a reference to Spider-Man as well? I think there was
No.
one something. Oh, maybe that was in Civil War, but I remember
Spider-Man's in Civil War.
I mean, there was I think Falcon said something about there was a report of like there's a spy
Maybe.
there's all these superpowers now. There's like one kid, somebody in New York that's got
he does say one who swings.
One who swings or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I think
When he's talking to
Scott
Louise.
was like, "There's."
But I think that's the end credit scene.
Yeah. But like I said, and Yellow Jacket.
I didn't like Yellow Jacket.
He was okay. I think he was a little bit over. I remember me
wasn't scary
thinking he was a
enough.
little bit much.
Well, he was a terrible villain.
He wasn't
'Cause you didn't
scary
care.
enough.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, just kill him, get over it. Just kill him.
Right.
Well, and was it? I can't remember in the comics. Was it Hank or Scott that turns into Yellow Jacket?
Hank.
Yeah. Because he's like, well, I'm done. That would have been great if friggin' Michael Douglas turned into Yellow Jacket in Civil War because of all like, I don't want to do your rules anymore. I'm just going to do what I want.
Right.
Or just because he's been corrupted by the PIM particles.
The
Maybe-
Pym
Because
particles.
he had to go get a bunch more, and so it threw him out, screwed him up, something like that.
Maybe.
But other than the villain, I loved everything about it.
I wouldn't love it. I wouldn't hate it. It was like this was fun. Like I enjoyed it, but yeah, it did feel like it was.
I really
much
dug
smaller than the other MCU.
the special effects in that one.
Oh,
really were seamless. I
Yeah.
really liked the things that turned big and turned small.
Right.
The way that they did that was
Yeah, visually it was beautiful.
really visually
and it needed,
cool.
Now, what
Yeah.
you said about TV, that needed a big screen.
Yeah.
For the smallness of it,
Yeah.
because that's such a cool visual.
To which when we talk about it in Phase 3, like I feel that Ant-Man and the Wasp definitely was 2.0. They definitely upgraded it, and the story was better. It was it felt like the box got much bigger than what it was, and the comedy in it was better written, I guess.
Ant-Man's kind of like always been in the universe, though. I feel like in the MCU, he's kind of always been his own little entity until they bring him in to be like in Civil War and in Endgame and that kind of stuff. But his movies kind of, I feel like they kind of live out just on the periphery. So maybe that's why
And
it felt a little strange.
Which you
to
need
which-
characters like that.
Yeah, it's almost like the Jessica Jones and
not everything needs to be capped.
They know what's going on and they know about all the rest of the universe, but they're kind of like off on their periphery doing their own thing, taking care of Hell's Kitchen.
outside
Much
of
like Deadpool.
outside
Yeah.
of really intellectual things with Hank Pym, in the comic books, it's almost funny because the way I think about it is like, okay, if we have some brainy questions, we'll go to Hank and ask questions.
Yeah.
But okay, we have a mission. Hawkeye, you need to do this, and then Cap, you'll then, and then Hulk,
Yeah.
and And I almost imagine, hey guys, what about me?
Right.
Yeah.
Like Aquaman. Hey, is there water there?
Was it-
Right.
Well, thinking about it, I can think of it this way too. That basically, Scott's an average human being. He's not like Captain America where he gets hit with super serum. It's almost like Aladdin with the lamp. Like he finds this.
He got lucky.
Yeah.
He finds this greater
He
power.
has no powers.
That then he just kind of uses it to his advantage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've discussed this to death. Let's move on, and we have a game show today.
We do. Nice.
Here's a generic game show for you.
Okay, for this game show, we are having, once again, our fourth chair is going to be coming in and taking over the game show from us.
Yay.
So, yeah,
That's good.
that's awesome. I don't have to do it. It makes me happier.
I'll do it. Okay, so these are
You,
all.
you ready to keep score? Are you ready?
Oh yeah, I gotta do that, huh? So these are all
will.
Marvel-related questions. They're not necessarily just confined to Phase 2. I'm short. It's my problem. Okay, guys, ready?
Ooh, that's better.
Number 1. What film was the first Marvel adaptation to win an Oscar?
And then look at one of us and say a name, and we'll go in order.
Okay, yes, because we wrote them down. This is my first time doing this. Sorry, guys.
That's all good.
Okay, so, Deb?
I'm wrong, but I'm going to say Thor.
Nope. PB?
Avengers.
No, sir.
I'm gonna go a little bit further back and put Ang Lee's the Hulk.
No, sir.
That makes me angry.
It's Spider-Man 2
Oh, okay.
Really?
for visual
Nice.
effects.
Oh, no.
It was for visual
get it.
effects.
I can.
I was thinking of 3. I
Okay, so
apologize.
let me
I was
do-
about to say no. Spider-Man 2 was good.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
apologize, I was
Spider-Man
thinking
2 and old school Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 2.
Nice.
Doc Ock. Okay, number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2. Who was the alternate actor approached to play Captain America? And the real one, not the one that thinks he does.
Red Hood. I mean, Jensen Ackles.
Yes!
Yay!
I almost said Jake, yeah, but he's the one that I think is the one who says he's going to be. But no, it's Jensen Ackles. Jake Gyllenhaal?
No, John Krasinski likes to tell people he was.
John Krasinski,
but
right.
he wasn't.
No, but I wrote Jensen Ackles.
Yeah, they only wanted Chris Evans, but they were planning on Jensen Ackles if they couldn't convince Chris Evans to take it.
Right. Jensen Ackles is who I said.
Okay, nice.
Is he the shorter one or the taller one?
The shorter one.
The taller one.
You know, I can't see it. I'm sorry. I do like the actor. I love Dean Winchester, but I can't.
Yeah,
I can't see Captain
That's why they really wanted
And
Chris Evans.
Clearly, Krasinski is Reed Richards. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I said Jensen Ackles as well.
Yay! Nice job.
Now Jensen Ackles could be Batman.
We got points.
No,
I'd be
Jensen
okay with
Ackles
that.
just needs to be the Red Hood.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Exactly.
live action. Yes.
Got that. So we got some points on the board, boys.
That's probably the only points on the board.
That's
boys.
my only point on the board today. I
Number
guarantee it.
3. In Infinity War, Groot's final "I am Groot" translates to what? PB?
No, I'm PP.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Dub.
Sorry. I knew that.
I don't know whether to
We'll
be
go with
insulted
Dub
or more
first.
insulted. No, go ahead.
My guess is you are a raccoon, and I want to shave you and just leave your black band on your eyes.
No, but I really like that answer.
Do I get a point for it?
Creativity
No.
points. Creativity points. They don't
She's
count,
running
but they're
the show, not
awesome.
you.
PB?
I wrote I love you.
Close, but no.
If I'm not mistaken, I've seen this article, and it's something along the lines of like, "What's going on, Dad?"
It's just Dad, so I'll
just
give
Dad?
you a point.
Okay, yay.
Simply
No points?
Dad.
Okay,
You can have 1 point.
okay. One.
See, that's why the "I love you" is close, because
Get a half
it's too rocket.
Because I remember reading.
I'll
I'm like,
give you
"That,
both
too
a
soon."
half a point for that
Oh,
instead.
nice. We got half points. I love it.
Okay. Number 4. Where does the name of Star-Lord's ship, the Milano, come from? Dub?
Italy.
No!
No, it does. A Milano it's Italian.
It's a cookie.
No, I'm Italian.
PB.
Thought I smelled spaghetti.
Alyssa Milano.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a total
It's
guess.
Star-Lord's crush on Alyssa Milano.
Okay.
Who's the boss of Alyssa Milano?
Yep.
What's the name of their second ship?
What second ship?
They have another. They have the second ship that they have. They named the Benatar.
Nice.
Did you make that up or is that true?
that's true.
Cool. Okay, number 5. She-Hulk was originally supposed to have a live action film. Who was slated to play She-Hulk?
Patrick Dempsey.
Lucy Lawless.
Dub? No.
Oh, I wrote Lucy Lawless too.
Nope. Kosh?
I went with Ronda Rousey.
Nope.
Ew.
It's Brigitte Nielsen.
Oh, okay.
And if you Google it, still photos exist of her all green.
Ew.
Like, was that back in the 80s when she?
It was right after
okay.
Red. It was right after Red Sonja.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, it was
I'm
the
thinking
popular.
now. I'm like,
No, it was based on because of the popularity of Red Sonja. So,
Oh,
and they actually shot like some footage of her painted green and green hair and
I
everything.
can see that.
Number 6. Who is the only character that was originated in the TV universe that moved into the film universe? He's acknowledged as the MCU's final acknowledgement or first and only acknowledgement of the TV universe.
Stanley.
Dub? No, but that's a great answer because the answer's always Stanley. PB?
I wrote
Can I
the
see
Star Trek red shirt SEALs shield agent.
No, but that's a good answer.
Oh, okay.
I don't. The only thing I can remember was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that they actually did an episode where whatever happened in the Dark World was mentioned. They were cleaning up the after effects of it. So, well, wait a minute.
What'd you write down?
What'd you
What'd
write
you
down?
write there?
Thor. I put Thor.
Yeah, nope.
No, I don't know.
It's Edwin Jarvis.
I was about to say that.
In Endgame, the driver
He's the
for
one we talked about, yeah.
Howard is Jarvis. Jarvis originated, that actor James D'Arcy originated in Agent Carter.
Well, poop.
All right.
That-
You
this
knew
has
there
been
was going to be
mentioned
an
at some point.
you knew there was going to be an Agent Carter question because
I
you
was
know
actually
better.
thinking of like the Netflix stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
they didn't say anything about
I
it.
knew you guys were going to get the
Just
Agent
go.
Carter one. You should have because that's my show.
the Purple Man is a Time Lord. And,
Number
And a
7.
demon.
right.
Right.
And a demon. When Iron Man 3 was released, it marked what occasion in Iron Man's history?
50th anniversary of Iron Man?
Yes.
Really?
Yes! I totally guessed
Yay!
that too.
Point
wow.
for you.
50th anniversary of Iron
Well
Man.
done, Kaj.
Tony Stark's an alcoholic.
Well, yes, but that's not what it was. Okay, so far, PB, you're leading the pack here. One more question. When did Iron Man make his debut in the comics? And I will give you an extra point if you can name the comic, and I will give you an extra point if you can name how it ties into Ant-Man's movies. PB?
No.
Or Dub?
When Jack Kirby drew him in, and that is 100% right.
That's a good answer. I will say that's a good answer.
1964?
Nope, you're close.
Okay. 1962, Avengers #1, and because he helped to make the Pym particles.
1962 is correct. The other 2 points are not. Kaj?
I got this wrong. I put Strange Tales, and I have no idea why it ties in Ant-Man.
Nope.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so
All
we
right,
have a
it's
winner.
1962, and it's Tales of Adventure. And in Ant-Man, Yellow Jacket, when he's talking about Hank Pym and all of his Pym particles in front of the board or whatever, he talks about how the stories of Ant-Man were such tales of adventure.
They did a
So-
lot of stuff in that movie.
They did.
Like that.
They did.
All the ants have names of different...
So the
Different-
Pixar game show is coming back to haunt me.
So, Dub, you have a whopping 2. Yay,
Yay.
2!
This is the worst game show ever.
You guys aren't going to let me do these questions anymore, are you? Kaj, you have 2.5 points.
Yes.
Nice.
And PB is our winner with 4.5 points.
And she can do the game show anytime she wants.
Yay!
2.75 correct.
Good thing I write the show, huh?
Don't worry, Courtney. I'll
You
write
guys
a
are making
couple
a
shows. Yeah.
special note.
Okay.
Geeky page, not allowed to do trivia questions anymore.
Okay, so moving on a little bit, go away from my humiliation. Let's discuss the source material versus the Marvel universe in general. How do you feel like that really... Do you feel like they've done a great job? Have they been pretty honorable to the source material? Have they crapped on it? I mean, DC has a bad habit of that.
Yeah.
Marvel's had a bad habit of it at some points, but the Marvel universe in general, how do you feel like they've been doing?
I think I said this in Phase 1. The MCU is borrowed heavily from the Ultimate Universe, more so than the 616 comic one. So using the Ultimate Universe, which is way more modern, when did that come out? Like the 90s? Is that when that
Ultimates,
Ultimates 90s?
Probably
90s.
mid to late 90s or
Late
probably
90s.
early 2000s.
So
yeah.
so using the updated Marvel, I think they've done a great job. I think that they would have run into some problems trying to go all the way back to like maybe the 60s interpretations, or even, again, the older, more classic interpretations just might not have sat well with a general kind of audience.
What I think they've done best with is like what we were talking about with Ant-Man. Giving all those Easter eggs and everything to all that source material, but you don't have to read it to understand the movie. But if you did read it, it just enhances your experience by a lot. I think, to me, that's kind of the best way to do this. You're not going to make comic book readers happy with the literal interpretation.
Yep.
You're not going to keep general people happy with the general interpretation. How they've done it, I think it's about, 50-50?
It's a good balance, yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot more... I like a lot of Easter eggs that aren't necessary for the plot itself.
Right.
That, honestly, if 100 Easter eggs go by and the only people that notice are those that watched it...
Are the nerds.
Cool.
Yeah.
But that's what... That's the part that's the thank you to the fans.
They're pretty good at doing Easter eggs without it being such obvious fan service.
Right.
I'll give them credit.
Or they're relevant to whatever the scene is, too. Like, I know we're going to talk about it in Phase 3, but like with Endgame, like it took me this twice, like the second time seeing it, to see Hank Pym's Ant-Man helmet.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, okay, that is amazing. But yeah, I agree with both of you that they have you're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to copy the comic word for word, and you're not going to be able to please all the most hardcore of comic book fans.
That actually reminds me of something in Endgame, and I'm going to ask Dub this question because I know we kind of felt very similar about the Captain America is a Hydra agent interpretation that was done in the comics. Was it not cool, though, in Endgame when he said "Hail Hydra"?
Right. Yes.
That was perfect.
It fit the situation,
It fit the moment, and it was a moment.
And it was almost like a thumb in the nose to.
Yeah.
And
everybody hated that.
I think it was.
Yeah, I think so,
and
too.
I mean,
that was a finger, let's be honest.
Yeah, finger.
What's cool about that is I took my mom to see it, because I go to the Marvel movies with my mom. I do.
That's cool.
That's great.
She loves them, so... She used to read comics when she was a kid, but she doesn't know all the world. She just really loves the movies. So we go together. So when I took her and they did the Hail Hydra thing, she laughed her head off because she thought it was Captain America saying Hail Hydra and tricking all of these Hydra agents. She had no idea about that moment. Right. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was enjoyable.
Well, it was tricking Hydra agents in the movie, but
in the movie, that's the thing is she didn't understand. She didn't know anything about the up yours that they were giving to the guy who screwed up his character in the run. Yeah. She just thought it was this wonderful, fun moment. So there's an Easter egg that was fun for me in one way and fun for my mom in another way.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, I'd say that's
and
a
I
great
explained to her
balance.
it afterwards, and she goes, "Oh, that's even funnier."
So, how do you feel about because I know you're very into the comics themselves.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about the way it's represented? Do you wish there's a little more, or are you okay with it?
I like it. I think the balance they have is really good because a lot of what you guys brought up is my same thoughts as well. There's a lot of stuff that they couldn't bring in. I think one of the things like with Ant-Man having the choice to do Scott Lang's story instead of Hank Pym's story, because a lot of people don't remember Hank beat Janet in the comic books. We don't want to see that.
No,
we don't want to see that
because you never forget it. And
exactly,
he's had to literally spend the last 40 years apologizing.
Right, like he was a beater, so we don't want to see that. So it works having him as the mentor and the older, wiser character that's kind of leading Scott in the direction of superhero life. Okay. And even with like Civil War, I mean, we have Tony and Steve live at the end, but in the comic book, Sharon kills Cap,
right? And
Tony's there with the body. So I mean, but we understand why they didn't do that because those two guys, and we'll throw Thor in there too. The three of them are the tent poles of these 22 films,
right?
So you want to have all three of them making it all the way to Endgame. So.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so we're going to move on real quick to our listener feedback.
And now, let's see what all of our geek rock stars have to say.
Okay, on our listener feedback today, we said, what is your favorite Stan the Man Lee cameo? I said, I mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. We lost a lot of our responses, so I apologize, but I got to save some of them. Okay, so we have Katie May said it's a tie. The Are You Tony Stank from Captain America Civil War and in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when he's telling the Watchers all about his adventures, and that is my favorite because he's a Watcher. John from California, I got to go with the Captain Marvel Mallrats cameo, which was absolutely brilliant. Danielle Ariana, tie between Thor Dark World, Excelsior, and the first Avengers. Eric Broughton, Thor's haircut, or Captain Marvel's cameo. And Daniel Houston said Thor Ragnarok with the haircut. That's great.
I have one that has been missed.
I know which one you go.
Which one? What?
Okay.
No, not
Okay.
Deadpool. Not Deadpool. No,
Well, that's
one of my
fine.
favorite ones because it just brought a smile to my face is when he was a security guard in Incredible Hulk.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Lou Ferrigno was
Yes.
next
That
to
was a
him.
good one.
Yeah. My favorite was from Homecoming. Don't make me come down
Yeah,
there.
Come down there, you
Love
ruffian.
There's two that I love the Deadpool one in the strip club.
Yep,
Yeah.
I got that one.
And I heard he was actually upset because he's like, I wanted to be at the strip club. They recorded me somewhere else.
Oh, poor Stan.
And then my other one was the it's not really MCU, but it's is the Spider-Verse with he's the
shopkeeper.
Oh, yeah.
He goes, oh, it always fits. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Or how about the other one in the Spider-Man universe where he's with his wife?
Yes.
Yeah.
How about the
remember
one
which
in
one
Big
was.
Hero 6?
How about
yeah.
All of them.
Can we just have like a
I have-
DVD of literally all of the Stanley cameos?
I think
There's a
in
clip.
on
Endgame,
YouTube.
there's going to be a documentary about his cameos. Yeah.
Good.
There's a drunk. How about drunk Stanley and Ultron?
Oh, because he took mead or something, or he
Whatever
took-
that stuff is that Thor had.
Yeah,
Oh.
elderberry or whatever.
Well,
Yeah.
there's the Fantastic Four one when he was Hugh Hefner.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
that wasn't fantastic. That was
There's also Iron Man.
2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
Iron
then, okay, he was
All of them.
newscaster Larry.
Oh, Larry King. Yes.
Larry King.
Oh, that was Iron Man 2. Hugh Hefner was
Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did he do on the Fantastic Four? I know he had something in both. Of them.
I didn't see the new one, but I
The old
saw
ones.
the other
real
two.
not the.
He's got to say Trooper. Has he said Trooper Lever in any
He
of the
does in
movies?
Captain Marvel.
He doesn't
Because he's reading this. He's reading the
that's
Mallrat
right.
script, and he
Okay.
goes. He keeps repeating the line.
That's
True
okay. That's
believers.
true. Okay.
And he says
Good, good, good.
Excelsior in Ultron.
Right.
Nice.
I was kind of hoping he would do that for the last one, but I forgot that he did it. He did Excelsior already. Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep the feedbacks coming, and I'll make sure that I don't lose them again. So I apologize.
It's feedback.
No.
Okay, let's.
You guys are too damn
Too late for
tired,
that
man.
joke.
With that feedback, let's go on to our main event.
Now it's time for the main event.
Okay, for this version of the main event, we're doing our top 5 story arcs from Phase 2 only.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with my number 5, which would be Captain America, the first epic showdown run chasing Bucky. I loved that. The whole scene of him chasing him down, going through the apartments. I love
Throw
that.
the shield, grab it, and then throw it back to him. He's like,
That was
Such a great movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was just like a perfect chase scene. A lot of chase scenes bore me. That did not. So
Very
yeah,
nice.
that one. Your number 5.
Pepper going from damsel in distress to kick some booty at the end.
semi-rescue.
Okay.
Yeah, quasi rescue
Yeah.
before being rescued.
Nice.
I'm changing my number 5, but it's kind of a disappointment. But I would have really liked to see the story arc. I would have liked to see the Mandarin. If the Mandarin was actually,
Agreed.
I did have Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
So
but-
you're looking at an alternate universe.
well, if Ben Kingsley would have been the actual Mandarin, that would have been amazing.
I would have been in.
Yeah, so I'll give him that.
My number 5, just mentioned, Stan Lee is Watu the Watcher.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Honestly, I wish that would have been the last one.
Doing the Watusi.
Anyway.
It's UATU, so I'm guessing that's Uatu.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 4 is Lewis Tells a Story.
Oh,
I would pay
so
to watch a
good.
3-hour MCU recap done by him.
Mm-hmm.
3 hours long, and I would not get up to pee,
Two
nothing. I would just
smoothie
be like,
machines.
He just pee
Done.
himself.
I don't care if
He'd
I'm
wear a
watching
diaper.
that.
So
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
funny.
he's hilarious. And the way, just the way he tells a story is just brilliant.
Nice.
Hulk and Bruce Banner's like dealing with the split personalities because this is the first time in the phases where we start to see Bruce realize, like, be cognizant of both sides of himself.
Okay.
Nice.
works.
Where did he show up at Avengers? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't hear much from him in this phase, did we?
Gosh, I'm just
He's
changing all my
in
stuff.
he's in Ultron,
Yeah.
but that's
Avengers, there's only one
Yeah.
in that whole phase.
Yeah.
Interesting.
yeah.
My number 4 is going to be just the romance between Star-Lord and Gamora.
Oh,
Yeah, just kind of hometown boy, and he just kind of slowly but surely just starts giving her some music, and kind of you see her just being like she is just the badass warrior, like do not mess with me, and then you slowly but surely just see her, kind of get a soft spot, and be like, okay, this kid's all right. Like,
do you think anywhere in their romance he thought in his own mind, I'm Captain Frickin' Kirk?
No, wouldn't that be Thor?
No one understands that joke?
Because he
no.
really is the alien babe magnet. So
Yeah.
Oh, like because Captain Kirk had a green
girlfriend.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
he's an Orion slave girl.
Okay,
I can't do the cerebral stuff after this many shows.
Thinking about it, because he would have grown up on Star Trek. Yeah,
It was an Orion slave girl, wasn't it?
Something like that. All right, my number 4 is the creation of the Vision. I think that whole arc with Jarvis the Voice leading to the creation of the Vision, where Paul Bettany got to play him, and then the extended scene where they fight, it's like really great arc, really great idea.
Nice.
Someone to be able to combat Ultron. I think that's awesome.
Nice. Number 3, another Ant-Man, just basically his origin story, and it was completely different and fresh from anything we've seen in any of these superhero movies as far as an origin story goes. He's a crook, he's a bad guy, and he was set up to get it by somebody else. And I think that the way they told it was really well.
And allow me to save a little time by saying my number 3 is also Ant-Man.
Nice.
For the same reason.
Okay.
Nice. Mine's Nebula's journey. I know it's kind of extends outside of, but I really like Karen Gillan's version of Nebula. So
yeah, I like her in version 3 in Phase 3 versus Phase 2.
Yeah,
she loved the character more. She didn't love the character
at
first.
Well,
it was very robotic and very plastic.
Yeah,
well, she always got the short end of the stick, and she wanted to please her dad so much, and no matter how hard she tried, Gamora was always beating her. It's the younger sister, the middle sister that just never gets the respect.
Nebula.
Right. Exactly. I think we have forgotten this character, but I'm going to bring him back. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Yondu.
Yondu.
Yes. Michael Rooker can do no wrong. I'm telling you that. Oh, that's such a good. Just being Star-Lord's father, like parental
he makes you forget
unit.
how bad of a human.
Yeah, like he's a horrible person in the comics.
He did have the coolest weapon I've ever seen.
He did.
And like you did not want to mess with him, but then he had the heart of gold of wanting to protect.
Well, heart of sort of gold.
Who's gold?
Tarnished zinc. Tarnished
zinc. Yeah.
It was valuable, but not that valuable.
I bawled on his funeral scene.
Yeah.
I did.
Which you had no right to, because he was terrible.
Yeah, but like a giant, a giant girl, I'm over there just crying.
Yeah.
All right, so jumping
father
over,
and son play.
Jump to you for number 2.
Oh, wait, number 2. Avengers, when Steve kind of moves Mjolnir. Now, I do have a question.
Mjolnir?
Mjolnir. It's the hammer.
So, I do have a question for you. Thor gave a look when Steve kind of moves it. You remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, was this look nervousness, or was he disappointed that he didn't move it? I heard
shock.
I heard that, and I watched it again. He was almost disappointed. He wants him to be worthy.
No, I think he was shocked.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say shocked. I would say confused.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, hold on. You're saying language. You're telling people to not use swear words. He's the most wholesome character in the MCU. Why can't he hold Mjolnir?
And I posit you guys this on the other end of it. Can Steve really lift it and he just didn't do it because he didn't want to embarrass Thor?
I don't think so. I think it's because of Bucky. He did not. He didn't have closure with Bucky because he was still didn't know where he was. He still had a heavy heart about losing his best friend. He couldn't.
I think he was shocked because Cap is mortal. A mortal man almost moved the hammer. Mm-hmm. I think Thor was like, "What?"
Maybe a little bit of both.
That's just me.
I think he was surprised. I think he was literally surprised, and that's why I think in Endgame he was like, "I knew it!" When he finally grabbed it.
That's why I think he was disappointed.
I have to say that in Endgame, when he picked it up, I screamed out in the theater with all my children there, and I embarrassed them. I screamed out, "Captain America!" as loud as I could.
The audience that I was in, we all went, "Yes!" Yes.
Right. and just how they posed him too, because it almost looked like he did the pose like he caught the shield, but then it was like he caught the hammer.
Yeah.
It's like, what? No. Wow.
Number 2, ma'am?
Number 2, don't at me, guys, but Tony dealing with his PTSD in Iron Man 3.
Okay.
Because I mean, he's a wreck. Like, he's peeing in the suit in the beginning of the movie, but by the end of the movie, he is back to being Tony Stark again. So
Okay, nice. I switched my number 2 because I did kind of sort of like, because it was kind of the premise or premonition of Planet Hulk that we never got. But
Yeah.
Iron Man and Hulk's kind of like everybody wanted to see that, like when the Hulk actually does go berserk and does how are the Avengers going to subdue him or put him down once he goes rogue or once he goes savage, and just having that fight scene was just, and even making it funny too, like you just see him pummel him and Tony's just scared, like go to sleep, oh my god, I know if he gets madder I'm screwed, like it was a general fear, like what's going to happen after this.
Yeah, my number 2 is just the concept of taking G-level characters in the Guardians of the Galaxy and making them really A-level in the MCU. So, yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy is my number 2.
Nice. Well, I have one kind of similar. It is Guardians of the Galaxy. That one scene, and it starts at the opening credits, and as soon as you get through the post-credit scene, that's the scene that I like. Just you start at the beginning and you go all the way to the end. That's the best scene in the all of Phase 2.
Just the
Okay.
All of it.
Guardians was the sleeper hit that just it came out of left field. Nobody knew how good it was going to be.
Yep.
Fact.
Mine is Cap finally learning to kind of deal with modern life. He's not so much a man out of time by the end of Winter Soldier.
And a lot of punching bags.
A lot of punch bags.
Similar aspect. I have to admit, I agree with Katie. The whole Bucky arc was just starting from the first Avenger, seeing him get lost, Cap trying to deal with that, and then finding out later that Russia got him and turned him into a killing machine, and then his redemption, and now he's going to be like she said, like she thinks that he's a main character. I think that he's been a secondary character up until this point. Once he gets into Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the new TV show, he will be a main character in the MCU, and he'll probably be there for a while. Yeah. I would also say that he'll have the shield at some point. He will get that shield from Sam.
Yeah, my number 1 is from the Winter Soldier. And it did surprise me when the realization that Hydra had infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. That was one of those moments that I did not see coming. I knew in the elevator, I knew that, they saw Cap as being problematic, and I knew there was things going on. But for it to actually be revealed that it was Hydra, and they got in there, I was like, whoa, that's not what I expected. So it was a great surprise.
Well, and they wait for Peggy to die.
Right.
Like, she dies, and then they're like, okay, we're done. We're Hydra now.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely.
Nice. Well, great job, everybody. This was a show. Check out the website, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use Call Me Paid Extra for it. You can find all our shows there. Go to the Facebook to answer our listener stuff. Go to the Twitter, @iHeartGeekShow. Do that stuff there. Talk to us. We will talk back to you. And until next time, I'm Dub.
I'm Siege.
I'm asleep.
Now I'm PB&Jason, but I'm going to acquiesce my victory. I'm going to take my victory and I'm going to hand it to our guest so that she may say the outgoing line.
Oh.
Keep on geeking on.
Geek page.
You've been listening to iHeartGeek. Our Twitter account is @iHeartGeekShow. Hope you enjoyed the show.